Finale was a song that was completely just written. It's not even a song. It was just something
It's an intro.
It was an idea that was written in the studio to kind of be a prelude into Nobody. And the cool thing about this was that it really wanted the engineer and I were working on another late night thing, just working 4 a.m. Came up with this. It's really just a D minor chord. It's just super simple, and it's just being it's pretty much just descending lines being arpeggiated.
How was that?
And pretty much the only really significant part about this is that it's just as we were listening back to this, I always like to record a lot of the stuff on my phone and listen back to it later at night, and just to make sure everything was right with the takes and listen back to it with fresh ears. And that night I fell asleep. I woke up the next morning and I listened back to the intro, and there's a section in there where it has this. It sounds like a voice going on. I don't know what it is.
Well, there's a voice.
There's something on there.
There is a voice on there.
It's it might have been caught in because of there were some radio towers by it. It might have come in and done this thing. But at any rate, when you hear something back on there and you hear an unfamiliar voice, it's speaking almost in tongues. It's extremely creepy. It needs to say it was a bizarre moment on there, but we decided to keep it in there.
The hairs were standing up on my arm, so there's something there. What it is, I don't know. But these two were genuinely freaked out. He was texting me.
It was weird. It was weird.
It's really weird. I mean, you just gotta listen to it. It's really freaky.
Nobody Sleeps Here. This was the hardest song to compose, I think, because what happened was that we had this guitar part, which was it was almost very. I mean, I think Adam even called it like Muddy Waters Blues.
Yeah. I think that's on when we did the transcriptions.
Yeah, it's on one of the transcriptions there.
Yeah.
He called it that. We left it in there as a.
Well, that was the first section. We wrote the verse and the chorus.
Yeah.
It was everything else.
It was it was another big song, and but it was this kind of very almost folk rock type section, and I think a lot of people were kind of skeptical about it, but Joseph and I both were like, no, just trust us, just keep on bearing on with it, and it's going to turn out cool, because we had the vision for it, and pretty much it definitely follows kind of, once you kind of get into the song aspect of it, the verse and the chorus, it's a very straightforward kind of deal, and then it breaks off into a very progressive neoclassical type atmosphere.
I like how you call something that has 3 tempos, 4 key changes, and an odd number of measures.
Yeah.
with 7 vocals in the chorus is just like the simple, straightforward.
We have a giant bridge for it that has these crazy chords behind it. I don't even remember
And
what
the clusters, the tone clusters,
going on,
keyboards,
tons of stuff going on. That it was kind of experimental in a way, but very melodic at the same time. And then it kind of goes into a very Baroque type kind of section with the guitar, and the counterpoint behind it is very much follows the thesis of Baroque music. It goes into this guitar solo, which was very neoclassical, just all over. I just really tried to. I don't know, it's very egocentric guitar solo on there. Afterwards, we totally cut into something that I've always wanted to do, which is kind of have a almost classical type section, but with the drums and the bass following everything. And that was something that is probably my favorite Sega moment from a technical aspect, because that was kind of worked out in the studio. He listened to it. We went there and had like a 20-minute discussion of what we wanted to have for it, and he had jotted down his notes. I remember he had, I wish we had a picture of this, but he had, in his handwriting, had written down every section and the way that he would kind of relate to it, whether it might be a section that was, 6/8, 6/8 16ths right here or something like that, or sextuplet run. he would name it in his own section, in his own way.
But Transylvania.
Yeah, Transylvania.
Yeah, we have that. We have all that paper.
Stuff.
Yeah.
He had his own for the actual neoclassical breakdown.
Yeah, Chopin section.
Yeah, so he was all looking at it, and it pretty much came out like he took a few takes of it, and it was right there.
It's a crazy blast beat at the ending over the 6/8 part.
Yeah, and then later on in the song, there's
I thought he was gonna pass out.
the flamenco, kind of a real Spanish type section going on. Repeats back to the chorus, and then we have this kind of big finale, which is what we wanted to have, where it almost sounded like everything was triumphant in a way, And it's a 6/8 section. It's got all the arpeggios going on top.
High vocals.
Yeah, high vocals.
Crazy
It's just the band is just going off at that point,
Everybody. There's double kick, sextuplets,
and
like
super arpeggio.
there's falsetto, like up on a high A above middle C. It's just
Anthony's got his bass line, which is
crazy.
extremely wide vibrato on a bass, and then it ends and it kind of cascades down into something that's just kind of a way to carry out the record, which is this kind of somber, arpeggiated section on a classical, not a classical guitar, acoustic guitar.
Yeah, it's doubled in octaves with a capo, and
they give like a 12-string effect. That was something that we would do.
there's these extensions on the keyboard alternating between the 7, the 9, and the 4 that kind of give it this like you're not there at the destination. Like it's like you passed it.
Yeah.
You're going off in the distance. Honestly, that's my favorite song on the record. I love everything on there. I'm happy with.
Yeah.
But to me, that song, like we did something that's different, like really different.
Yeah, I think Nobody's my favorite as well. I just like I think that, especially at the very end, I just like it's the kind of melancholy feel you have at the very end.
But the verses, I've never heard anything like that in a metal song.
Yeah.
Ever. It's almost like early Black Sabbath. Like it reminds me of something
That's what
that they
was
would.
saying. Yeah.
I mean, it's such a breezy vocal, and then you have like the King Diamond like chorus with all the falsetto and the big harmony, and
It's all stacked.
and then the typo negative section where you're doing this lead, and I'm doing these ridiculous false. I think I hit like a B up there in that one. It's a whistle tone.
Yeah.
And it's way in the background, so he can have his like ego fest. But
So
it's I mean, that's my favorite song on the record. I mean, lyrically, it's just all about anxiety. And if you've ever had anxiety and ever laid in bed at 2 a.m. and had your heart racing and you're staring at the ceiling and hearing shit, and like that's what that song is about. And there is no resolution. There's no salvation. There's nothing that can help you, well, except the bullet in your head.
Nobody Sleeps Here, the ballad to anxiety.
Yes.
Nobody sleeps here anymore. It was all